Here with today's story, another nonfiction, which means it's true. It's a biography. It's all about Thomas Edison. Do you remember when we read about Thomas Edison in our real book? So now we're going to learn a little bit more. He did much more than just the light bulb. So if you would like to take a quiz on young Thomas Edison, the quiz number is 34595, and it is a 3.5 reading level. Okay, young Thomas Edison. Let's see what he is all about. Thomas Edison was a great inventor. He made new machines that helped people. He invented the first electric light, the first phonograph, and many other things. This is a phonograph. That's kind of like our record player, which is kind of like a CD player. Okay, so that was back in the olden days. Thomas was born in Milan, Ohio on February 11th, 1847. His parents came to Ohio from Canada. Thomas was their youngest son. His full name was Thomas Alvin Edison, but his parents called him Al. Milan was a small town, but visitors came all the time. Some were farmers. Sometimes wagon trains would stop in Milan on their way out west. Al loved talking to the people passing through. He learned from them. When Al was 7 years old, his family moved to Michigan. Al started going to school there, but school was boring. Al always wanted to learn more. So he asked a lot of questions. So many questions sometimes made the teacher angry. And right here it says, silence is golden. Like, quit asking so many questions. That's kind of sad because questions are a good thing. We learn from asking questions. Al left school after only 3 months. His mother gave him lessons at home, so kind of like homeschooling. Al wanted to know about everything. Sometimes his mother did not have the answers. He found many of the answers in books, but books did not have all the answers, so Al began to experiment and try things out himself. Doing some experiments. When Al was not studying, he was working. For 3 summers, Al sold fruits and vegetables with a friend. One summer, he earned $600. That was a lot of money in those days. It's a lot of money in these days. When he was only 12 years old, Al began to work as a train boy for the railway. He sold newspapers and candy on the train. So there he is, making money on the train. Al even printed his own newspapers on the train. He also set up a laboratory there, a place to try scientific tests or experiments. But one day, while he was trying an experiment, he almost set the whole train on fire. Uh-oh. His boss got very angry, and after that, Al had to sell newspapers at the railway stations, not on the train. So they could get their newspaper when they got on, right before they got on, or right after they got off. While he worked for the railway, Al learned how to use the telegraph. This machine allowed people to send messages to faraway places. So there's the little strip of paper from the telegraph. From time to time, he was a boy. From time to time, he was a boy. Al had problems with his hearing, but he did not need to hear well to use the telegraph. The messages were printed in Morse code on a strip of paper. Al had no trouble reading the code. Al decided to become a telegrapher. He sent and read messages all over. His job took him to the South, to Canada, and to New England. The telegraph became more and more popular. Al wanted to find ways to make the telegraph work better. So that was a telegraph machine. Tap, 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 like little dots and little dashes that sent pieces of paper that had messages on them. So down there is like the little codes. A equaled like 1 dot, 2 dashes, dash, dash, dot, dot. He invented a telegraph that could send 2 messages on the same wire at the same time. And he invented a machine that printed telegraph messages in letters instead of those codes. Al decided to make another machine better and easier to use. He also wanted to make new machines, so he became an inventor. Busy working, always working, always learning. Al made the typewriter easier to use. He also made the telephone work better. And he found a way to make motion pictures that people could watch. He invented the phonograph too. So there's the phonograph with music coming out of it. Do 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 music, kind of like a telephone. In 1879, Al tried his biggest experiment. He wanted to send electric power to a glass bulb and make it light up. But he needed to put something in the bulb that would glow for a long time. He thought and thought until he found just the right thing. What is he doing? Lots of experimenting going on. Al put a special metal thread in a bulb and lit it. He looked at it the next day. It was still glowing. Al had invented the electric light. The next step for Al was to open a power station in New York. Now he could bring thousands of lights to the city. Pretty smart guy, huh? Thomas Edison kept inventing until he died on October 18th in 1931. During his life, Edison created more than 1,000 inventions. He did thousands and thousands of experiments in his lab in Menlo Park, New Jersey. He became very famous. People called him the Wizard of Menlo Park. Other inventors might have tried to make things work by using math and drawing plans. They would try to find their answers without experimenting, but not Edison. He was an experimenter, huh? Just as he did when he was a boy, Edison loved to find things out for himself. He would try again and again until he made things work. Do you remember that word from our real book? When you try things again and again, don't give up. Persistence. He was persistent. For one invention, Edison tried about 10,000 experiments. A friend told him not to feel bad about failing, and Edison said, "Why would I feel bad? I just found out 10,000 ways that it didn't work." It's good that he loved to experiment. Edison made his inventions work because he never gave up. And the things he invented have brightened our lives in so many ways. Thank you, Thomas Edison, for all you did for us, huh? Did lots of great things. And that is the end. Hope you enjoyed Thomas Edison. Take the quiz. The quiz number is 34595. Bye, guys.